welcome to BloombergQuint. Brookfield REIT became India's third real estate investment trust that got listed today. And joining me now is Mr. Ankur Gupta. He is Managing Partner, Head of India Real Estate Brookfield Asset Management. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for joining us. And firstly, congratulations on a very successful IPO and listing. Now,
thank you very much.
About the listing, we see that it has been more or less a flat debut with, I think it listed at 275.5005 on BSE and slightly at 281.70 on NSE, while the analysts were expecting the REIT to be listed at a premium. So if you could tell us some of the reasons behind this.
Look, we got tremendous demand for our IPO, 8 times subscription at the IPO price, which reflected a 12% discount to fair value and an implied yield of 7.95%. Both these characteristics are very strong for a high quality real estate trust. And I'm looking forward to this journey of long-term value creation in our portfolio.
Right. In our previous interaction, you had mentioned that the distribution yield will be in the range of 7.95% to 7.98%. So if you could tell us about a timeline about this distribution.
So this distribution starts in the first quarter. So we are planning to make our first distribution for the balance of this quarter, the last quarter of this first quarter of this financial year. And our dividend yield of 7.95% implied at the IPO price of 275 is the first 12 months of dividend yield. And we expect that this dividend yield will grow by roughly 6% in the following year.
Right. And your initial portfolio is of 14 million square feet, which you have also you have identified some assets, as well as there are ROFO properties, which will eventually be part of your portfolio. So I just want to understand that your portfolio is spread across 4 major cities, but it does not include Bangalore, like a very important market when it comes to commercial office spaces. So any particular reason behind this?
Look, I absolutely agree with you that Bangalore is one of the top markets, not just for India, but globally. It's a top office market. And Brookfield recently concluded a very large transaction in Bangalore, more than $2 billion, spanning 41 buildings. This is in Bangalore and Chennai. So we are very excited about the Bangalore market. And as I said, what we've done for the REIT, this is our flagship public vehicle owning commercial property in India. A stated strategy for Brookfield for this REIT is to grow this portfolio. So in all the cities that we are present in today in the country, across 42 million square feet of assets, we look forward to how this REIT creates a journey of growth, both in same store returns, as well as in acquiring assets, not just from the Brookfield stable, which is identified for the REIT, but also from the market.
Right. And any timeline as to when we can see the integration of the identified asset as well as the ROFO properties?
As you always say, assets select themselves. So as these assets move towards stabilization, those will be presented to the REIT decision, along with our board consisting of 50% independent members. So mentioned corporate governance and shareholder interest are at the forefront of our business plan. And we will make this decision together with all of our investors.
Right. So you selected like a very small portfolio initially, that's 14 million square feet. So, any plans of expansion, like which other cities are you looking at apart from Bangalore? Which are the other cities or other asset classes also that you'll be looking at within the commercial real estate space?
Commercial real estate space spanning office assets, large office parks is the core strategy of this REIT. We will be sticking to that strategy as far as Brookfield India Real Estate Trust is concerned. As I mentioned, we are present in 6 top cities in the country. And that will be our focus for this REIT as well. These are all deep markets, tremendous amount of tenant demand, and great infrastructure, which is rapidly improving to provide the ecosystem for large multinational companies, software development firms, research and development organizations, global centers for excellence that are emerging in places like Gurgaon, Bangalore, Mumbai, and Kolkata. And Brookfield provides a home to that economy that's bustling.
How has been the occupancy rate right now with the restrictions easing out and like people coming back to work? So of some of your core assets that you have listed, how do you see the occupancy right now?
Look, our occupancy is being steady in the mid 90s. Our tenants we've collected 98% plus of our rents. That shows the confidence that our tenants have in occupying these spaces and growing with us for a very long time. As restrictions ease out in markets, we've seen a tremendous influx of people, of course, with the norms that have been set in place by respective governments, and rightly so. We are seeing a movement back to people being in offices and creating magic in their respective businesses.
Um, right. And also, if you could give me your outlook about the commercial real estate space, given the circumstances that we are in, how do you see the space panning out? And also within the commercial real estate space, which are some of the asset classes that you're looking at? I mean, those who have like good potential for growth this year.
Commercial real estate houses the economy. I believe post this budget, India is poised very strongly towards a resurgence. Our assets not only house the Indian economy, they also house the services sector of large global companies. A lot of cutting edge work happens in India across, as I mentioned, software development, research on new technologies. A lot of business processes are being run in India. During the COVID time, India has stood out as a market where global corporations can rely for business continuity services. Uh, with very high caliber talent available in India, we graduate more than 10 million youngsters every year, trained in math, science, accounting, and largely an English-speaking population. That talent pool is available for global multinationals as they look to expand their reliance on technology, as they look to optimize their business operations. And commercial real estate outlook, both as far as India economy is concerned, which is looking very robust, and global economy, which is seeing a resurgence. For India, we are a double beneficiary of both these trends.
Right. My last question is about the in the union budget, the government has announced some incentives for the REIT investors. So what do you make out of it? How do you think it's going to impact REIT investors?
Look, at the outset, I must congratulate both the government as well as the regulator in India. They've put in place a very robust REIT regime, and they're progressively been making it more investor friendly and more open for other forms of capital to come in. For example, allowing FPI, foreign investors, to buy debt at the REIT level. Look, all these are positive trends, and I would not name anything in particular, but the trends are to make the REIT regime in India, which is already on par with many large and developed markets globally, and the trend is in the positive direction.
Right. Mr. Gupta, we wish you all the very best and thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.